Now we move on from things in the woods to people in the woods, one person in particular.
He was known as the Leatherman for reasons that will become obvious, and his story lives on more than a century after his death.
These wintry woods may feel empty and abandoned, but there's a legend afoot here, one that's endured for more than a century.
This whole area is filled with little nooks and crannies to get into, but nothing as majestic as this cave. This is a 5-star cave right here.
This cave was a regular haunt for one of the Northeast's most mysterious figures, the Leatherman, a wordless, wandering tramp in the late 1800s, so named for his heavy, hand-stitched outfit made from scraps of discarded boot leather.
Could you imagine just walking that amount of mileage, but then doing it with that 60 pounds of gear, of all that leather that he accumulated? I could not even, it's tough walking around with a backpack full of camera gear.
Our guide to this remote cave in Pound Ridge, New York, hard by the Connecticut border, photographer and history buff Adam Ace Wolpinski.
I go by Adam Ace, just so, Wolpinski is a little bit, lengthy, long of the tongue.
Adam tells us the Leatherman moved from town to town, cave to cave, but there was method to his movements. For years, this nameless, silent soul trudged a never-changing 365-mile clockwise loop between the Hudson and Connecticut rivers, showing up in the same towns every 34 days, winter, spring, summer, and fall.
The last 7 years of his life, people could almost set their clock by his arrival.
Norm MacDonald, curator of the Ossining Historical Society, the Hudson River town close to the cave where the Leatherman died in 1889.
There was an obituary published in the local newspaper, and hundreds of people came from the surrounding area to pay their respects. He was a celebrity.
Indeed, the clock-like coming and goings of the Leatherman were routinely reported in newspapers of the time, including the New Haven Register and New York Times.
People knew the Leatherman, and nobody really bothered him, for the most part. He was free. He never hurt anybody. He never even talked to anybody, and he just kept moving.
Former state archaeologist Nick Bellantoni leads us out into a forest in Southington, Connecticut. Today, a YMCA camp, it was one of the Leatherman's regular stops.
You can see it's not a very large cave, and it's really not even a cave. Basically what it is an outcropping. And what he did is he utilized the shelter area and built kind of lean-tos, wooden lean-tos out, probably about this far.
Bellantoni says the Leatherman was left alone for the most part, though he was locked up once for vagrancy.
But he escaped, and there was a big outcry. People said, leave him alone. He doesn't hurt anybody. He doesn't bother anybody. Just leave him alone.
Adam Ace can only imagine the kind of reception the Leatherman might receive today in the upscale towns of Westchester and Fairfield counties.
Oh, he would be probably locked up. I don't know. Someone would call in the authorities and say, there's some creepy dude looking for some food or looking for a ride or some money. They would probably get locked up, honestly.
There was some thought that he may have been from Quebec, but we have no evidence that he had lived in Canada.
Still, a myth grew up around this mystery man, that he was a heartbroken Frenchman named Jules Bourglet. The story was discredited soon after its publication during the Leatherman's life. The false story even went so far as to be set in stone at the Sparta Cemetery in Ossining.
This was not his name.
In 2011, a decision was made to move the Leatherman's grave due to safety concerns. It was too close to a busy road. A new headstone was commissioned, this time without the bogus name.
We put him up here near the flagpole in a more dignified place in the cemetery.
Scientists like Nick Bellantoni were hopeful DNA from the Leatherman's remains might reveal clues to his background. But when they opened the grave, there wasn't a trace of the old fellow left.
The elusive Leatherman, we never found him. He got away again.
all that remains of the Leatherman today are some artifacts at the Connecticut Historical Society. And though the Leatherman's secrets may have gone to the grave with him, his story shows no signs of dying.
It's a legendary story, and let me tell you, we can't remember the political elites, the big businessmen of the late 19th century. We've forgotten their names, but we remember the Leatherman.
Fascinating. And if the Leatherman story refuses to die, much of the credit goes to an amateur historian, Dan DeLuca.
Dan DeLuca wrote a book called The Old Leatherman, and that was published in 2008 and kind of kept the story alive, rekindled it in many ways. And the band Pearl Jam actually recorded a song about the Leatherman
How cool is that?
on their 5th album, Yield. So he had some notoriety for
He
sure.
did, the Leatherman. All right. Combine fresh air with fine art in New Hampshire.
It is considered at this point the largest sculpture park in New England.